Hello, I'm Pat Riviere-Seel. I'm delighted that Main Street Rag has chosen to publish my most recent book, Because I Did Not Drown. For the past 25 years, I've written and published poetry almost exclusively. This new book is something different for me. It's a collection of short personal essays paired with poems. It's part memoir, part new and selected poetry, and a large part what I have to say about living in a post-pandemic world. The best way for me to talk about this book is to read the preface and then the first poem in the book. The preface begins with an epigraph from Emily Dickinson. I dwell in possibility. Let me tell you a story in prose and poetry. It's unlike any you've ever heard. It's as familiar as your own face in the mirror. It's my story. I come from a long line of storytellers, an ordinary family of people who first hug you, tell you a story, and then ask for yours. The day of Daddy's funeral, his youngest brother, the only one of four still living, sat down in Daddy's recliner in the den of what had suddenly become my house and began telling stories. An act as natural as the grief we all shared. I don't remember any of the stories, but I remember the sound of his voice, the cadence of his speech, and the way I sat with cousins and listened while the rest of the family gathered in the kitchen, choosing food to serve from the abundance of casseroles and cakes covering the counters. Food and stories, they nourish me, they help define me. I was born with the surname Riviere, which means river in French. In the middle of the 20th century, under the sun sign Libra, the scales. I've always been a water child, drawn to the ocean, lakes, rivers, ponds, and mud puddles. If there was water, I was in it. In 1997, when I married Ed Seal, I hyphenated my name to honor him and our union. His surname means soul in German. I am indeed a river soul. My life has always been a balancing act, a lot like crossing a river by stepping on rocks, moving from one to the next without falling. The trick is to keep moving. Too often I've tried to steady myself on the rock before moving on to the next. I found some balance, but more importantly, I learned to swim by slipping and tumbling into the water. If I were to choose one word to describe my life, it would be resilience. I didn't drown. I found possibilities. I've led a privileged life. I was born with white skin to working class parents in a small southern town, much like small towns all over this country. I had the good fortune to be born into a loving, extended family and to be spared severe trauma. Within my family, the most important things were family, faith, and community service. We were far from perfect, but we loved each other. From this vantage point, I know we did the best that we could. This world doesn't owe you a thing, Daddy frequently told me, but you have an obligation to leave this planet a better place than you found it. It was more than philosophy for him. His commitment to serving his Methodist church, his community through work with the Lions Club, and his commitment to other alcoholics through Alcoholics Anonymous put those words into action. My mother was a registered nurse whose profession so defined her life that when she died, we buried her in her nurse's uniform. These short dives into my life, the things that helped shape the person I have become, began as the COVID pandemic was ending. Moving beyond fear and isolation, I began to reflect on how the pandemic had changed me, how I had changed, and what was important. These snapshots range from exploring relationships with family and friends to my complicated relationship with guns, and my grief at watching the destruction of so much of the work I did become destroyed. These pieces were written before Hurricane Helene tore through the mountains of western North Carolina in September 2024 and forever changed the landscape, both geographically and emotionally. Even so, I believe that this work still offers healing in the aftermath of destruction and the dark and dangerous times that we are currently living in this country. These are my stories. Now they are your stories. I took the title of this collection from the first poem which follows the preface, from the Almanac of Broken Things. I choose this earth that breaks my heart again and again. The woods for the way trees bend, fall, and return to dirt. I choose the sand dollar, the nautilus that in brokenness finds new creation. I choose the favorite doll that no longer cries, loved into silence, into rags. I choose the memory of a stranger's touch that lifted my face above water. Because I did not drown, I choose morning, the gauzy gray dawn that returns. I choose the once wild palomino whose beauty can never be tamed. I choose light from long dead stars that illuminates without heat. I choose March with its promise of spring, the warm days that tease, the blizzard that insulates and warms the bulbs, the seeds, all that lies beneath the surface waiting. Thank you. If you would like to order a copy of my book, please go to the Main Street Rag website.